deer fences are the issue as far as I'm concerned at the moment. I'd like to continue talking about the deer fences. And whatever solutions you can come up with, I'd like to see them ready. Whatever you can give me, I'd be happy to talk to you. Talking individually,
Yeah, but respectfully, we may not be smart enough to come up with solutions.
I understand that.
You know, I mean, we may need people to help us.
I've been on this board for 15 years, one way or another, and we still talk about the deer. And as soon as we start culling the deer, we're going to have people all the way out to Port Wine and back. And you're going to have the Bambi lovers that say you can't do this, and you're going to have the people that say we got to kill them. And I don't want to go through this again. I really don't want to do it.
I don't blame them. I've been there and done that.
I've been there, done that, and the problem is, a year later, 2 years later, they come back. So, I mean, you got to kill them all.
No, Bill, I think that's a little errant, and that's like saying if I get a haircut and then that's it for life. I don't have to get another haircut. Of course, you got to get one every so often, otherwise it does grow back. Deer are the same way. They are going to grow back.
It's become expensive.
Natural.
Okay, do we have any more? We're not going to have any more discussion about this today. We just send me your recommendations and let's talk about it next meeting. Visitors wishing to address the board, anyone want to talk about it?
How about abortion?
Anything but.
That's easy.
You want to spend the whole night here?
Okay. Provide funding for a deer count. Riverwood.
Yeah.
Echo here?
I have no problem. I have no problem providing for a deer count. Riverwood. I talked to Mr. Pilcher, and he said that he feels that the board should pay for the entire deer count and not be subsidized or by the IPC. On that basis, I asked Urban Forest Management to give us a bid, which you have here, which is less than we got from, what's the name? But that's a one-time flyover.
Oh, it's not two
It's
consecutive?
not 2 times. If you look at the numbers, there's a difference of 6 deer in the 2 days. We know that deer migrate, but here's the difference. Urban Forest Management, if you look at your map.
Well, Bill, I wonder if
Well,
we should speak to the other trustees about what these 2 plans are. I mean, I'm not sure they're aware.
We have your proposal.
Okay. If it's clear, then that's fine.
We have your proposal. He's doing Ryerson, Lake County, and Riverwood. I will give you an excerpt of the February 11th, 2000 report, the last time we called deer. Oh, by the way, if you would like to go up, excuse me, Rich, if you'd like to go on the helicopter with him and count the deer, you're more than welcome.
Right. And I might take you up on that.
I said,
Free ride?
You're more than welcome.
Take a picture of your house from the air.
Um,
Kind of cool.
Here's the report from February 11th, 2000. 57 deer were observed in Potawatomi woods. 26 deer were in Lake County. And within the village limits, we saw 66 deer. 39 deer in Ryerson. This was the report, in 2000. If the village is going to have to pay for the whole report, I would like to use Urban Forest Management.
Bill, I don't have a problem with using Urban Forest Management. When I made my proposal, I was unaware that you were talking to Urban Forest Management about doing this.
I wasn't. It wasn't until I was found out that we weren't gonna pay for half of it. When I say you, the RPC.
RPC, yeah, okay. I have no problem with urban forest management. My interest is to get an objective count of deer by an unbiased source.
And I think.
And I'd like to
unbiased.
yeah, and I consider Chuck an unbiased source. But I have two qualifications on that. One is, when the village and RPC jointly did the study last year, we did what Ryerson, what Lake County Forest Preserve District does. We counted on 2 successive days, because their experience is that when you fly over, you count something, you may get all the deer
There's a
you may.
difference of 6 deer.
I'm sorry, could I finish, Bill?
Sure.
That they've come to the conclusion that it's to the benefit to increase your accuracy, you do it on 2 successive days. And I think that's a wise plan. The second comment is I had an additional motive in doing the deer count. When we listened to Marty Jones at the Planning Commission, he made a comment about deer migration. He said deer typically will stay, and I should qualify, does will typically stay within approximately 1 square mile. I've spoken with Tim Pruse up at Lake County Forest Reserve. He says, yeah, does will stay within typically a half a mile to a mile. One of the studies on deer migration that I cited in the Ecology Committee report, it was a study of migration patterns, and they said that 75% of the does stayed within 1/3 of a square mile for the season. Now, how does this bear, what relation does this bear to anything? The relation might be this: all things may not be equal. Thorngate may not be similar to this historic part of Vernon Woods area. That the area near Duffy Lane may not be like this. And I would like to see, not just by counting the deer in the village, I would like to see if we could add higher resolution over a 2-day period to see if we can test this hotspot theory. Now, is this a powerful test? Now, it's probably a weak test, because when I spoke with the Burke engineer, wildlife guy, he said that in the winter, the deer will they'll go eat turf.
You better believe it.
So he said, your hotspot theory may not prove out, but I would be interested in trying. Now, if we do 2 successive flyovers, it's going to cost on the order of $3,000. Whether we do it with Urban Forest Management or with Burke Engineering, it's going to be about the same cost. I don't really have an axe to grind in that, but I think if we do this, we should do it for 2 successive days. And I would be prepared to say, let's do this one more time. Hopefully we'll learn something. We may not learn anything, but I would probably be much less interested in doing this in the future. But this year, I think it's important.
If the RPC were willing to go half with us, I would be happy to do that.
I think perhaps they would, but you know what? I think this is a village responsibility. The RPC took it on its own shoulders to do this count 2 years ago. And last year, the RPC said, well, maybe the village will share the cost with us. But this is a village responsibility. This isn't,
I don't know if it is or not.
well,
Bill, I mean, we're talking about $1,500. I think this is silliness. I mean, if we need, it's just so that the study wouldn't be suspect to some members of the board. It makes sense to do 2 days, have urban forest management do it, spend the $3,000. I mean, it's insignificant dollars. That would be my view. I don't know how else.
Oh my gosh, I agree with Mike.
What I would add, however, is a caveat.
Scary. Better stop. This is not.
My turn. What I would add, however, is a caveat is we need to find out when Ryerson is culling and the number of deer that Ryerson is culling. Because if we count before the Ryerson cull, we will be counting a much larger number